Good morning, friends. Let's sing a morning song together out of the great hymn book, Let It Be a Dance. It's hymn number 311, and I invite you to rise in body and or spirit. If you're joining us online, you can find the lyrics posted in the chat. The lyrics will also be posted up here on the screen, and let's make a great sound together.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia UU congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us today. You are always welcome here just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, however you understand and express your identity, whomever you love, and in all the ways you are still becoming. My name is Ann Colbury. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. I'm an older white woman with dark straight hair and glasses, wearing a blue top over a white t-shirt. Leading worship today is our minister, Reverend Mary Geer, Reverend Sarah Lewis, our Director of Community and Faith Development, Troy Fisher, our music director, and also Chris Park, behind me, who is rejoining worship arts after a long period serving on the pastoral care team. We're so pleased to welcome her back. Here are a few things you should know about our service today. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can read the subtitles on the screen beside me and the hymn lyrics. And if you're online, you can see the subtitles on your screen. We're a multi-generational community, and all are welcome here in the sanctuary. Over here are soft chairs and activities for hands, and you'll find both nursery care and a story program just down the hall in the classroom wing. Please be wherever you feel most comfortable. We're grateful to everyone making the service happen this morning. Thanks to all who have helped in so many visible and invisible ways. After the service, everyone will have a chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary. For those online, we invite you to stay and join a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. And for those here in the sanctuary, please join us in the Commons for discussion and connection. Next Sunday is the first of two important annual meetings in which we make decisions about our next church year. Both will be available online. Please mark your calendars for next week's after-service forum on June 1st to take a deep dive into the budget and the board's budget proposals, which have also been posted online on the OUUC website. In 2 weeks, on June 8th, we will gather again for our annual meeting when members of the congregation vote to both elect new leaders and approve a budget. We believe in democracy at OUUC, and this is how it works. Finally, next Sunday is the last day to participate in the Thurston County Food Bank Food Drive. There's a food collection bin just outside the sanctuary doors for your non-perishable food donations. We know so many in our community suffer from food insecurity, and it will get harder. Thank you for your support. There are many things happening at OUUC. Please check the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the most current information. Now let's take a deep breath and open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together.
This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition, with the words of Charles F. Flagg. In honor of those we have known and loved in the past, in recognition of the gifts and sacrifices they have made on our behalf, and in our sincere hopes that we may be worthy of their memory, we light our candles, we give our thanks, and we offer our prayers. Amen.
Welcome everyone. I'm Reverend Mary and I use she, her pronouns. I am a white woman in my early 60s with curly salt and pepper hair, wearing glasses, and today I have on all black, a blue stole, and a red poppy in honor of this Memorial Day. Our opening words are offered by Nicole McKay. We gather to remember those who could not grow old and those forced to grow old before their time. We gather to mourn and grieve with one another all of our losses, the people, the stories, the loved ones, and the future that could have been. We gather to do the hard work of facing the difficult realities of our present and our past, where there is conflict, violence, war, and hatred. We gather to hold space for silence as we try to make meaning of our history to help us work for peace and justice today. We gather to rekindle our source of hope for our future by recognizing in one another our shared humanity as we join in a concerted commitment for a better tomorrow. We gather because we need community to do all of this holy work. Come, let us worship together.
And let's sing together again. Hymn number 1001 out of the Teal hymn book. This is Issei Barnwell's arrangement of poet Barago Diop's Breaths, a beautiful piece of poetry. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit, and let's sing it together. Listen more often to things than to beats. Listen more often to things than to beats. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Sound. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. Listen more often to things than to bees. Listen more often to things than to bees. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. Oh, listen more often to things than to bees. Listen more often to things than to bees. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Sound. Thank you for singing.
Good morning. Most of you are probably familiar with this symbol of a red poppy worn as a pin on Memorial and Veterans Days. And the story that I have for you today is about how this symbol came to be. It starts with a woman named Moina Bell Michaels, who was a teacher. In 1914, she was touring in Europe when World War I broke out. She returned home to the United States, but was deeply troubled by what she had seen in Europe with the war. And so in 1917, when Wilson declared that the United States would join the war, Moina wanted to do what she could to help. Of course, women weren't allowed to join the military. They were encouraged to knit socks and scarves for the soldiers and roll bandages for the Red Cross, and Moina did all of that. But she still felt like she wanted to do more. There was a training that the YMCA had to become a canteen worker, and these canteen workers would run kitchens and feed the soldiers. So Moina took time off of her teaching job and traveled to get the training. She completed it, and then was told that at age 49, she was too old to go overseas. So Moina looked around for something else that she could do. She set up a desk in a hall where many soldiers, sailors, Marines, secretaries would sometimes be. And she just set up a desk to try to help them get their affairs in order before they were deployed. She would do anything that she could to help them settle and figure out what needed to happen. She spent money out of her own salary to make the hall a more pleasant space. And one day, a soldier left a magazine on her desk. In it, there was a poem by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, and it was, "We Shall Not Sleep." She read this poem and was deeply moved by this Canadian doctor's account of remembering all that he could not save on Flanders Field. And in the magazine, the poem was illustrated with a drawing that showed all of these spirits flying over a field that was covered in white crosses and red poppies. This gave Moina an idea. And so she went shopping. She went all over town, and she was able to locate 24 red silk poppies. And she pinned one to her blouse and gave the other 23 away, with her promise that she would wear this poppy every day so that she would remember. Well, shortly after this, World War I ended, and there were celebrations, and there were parades, and there were many, many people who said, "We will never forget." But it didn't take that long for business as usual to return, and Moina felt that people were forgetting. In particular, she felt like they were forgetting how to take care of the wounded veterans who had returned, many of whom were suffering without much help. And so Moina took her idea of the red poppy pin, and she brought it around to many different organizations with the proposal that they make the poppy pins and sell them as a fundraiser for the wounded veterans. And with her persistence, groups in the United States and in Britain took this up. They made red poppies, they sold them or gave them away at Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and used the money to help veterans. So this woman, who was never allowed to serve in the military, was remembered for her work for veterans. And in fact, at her funeral, she received full military honors and was carried in a coffin draped with a blanket made of hundreds of poppies sewn together. And we too can remember this symbol and its reminder to never forget. Thus ends our story.
Each Sunday, we engage in two spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to this community and to something greater than ourselves. Each of us has the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to make an offering, we are able to do more than any of us can alone. Through our offering, we also express gratitude for the many gifts life has given us, the network of our relationships, and for the presence of this community. Our offering does two things. It supports the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by our regular pledges. And it also supports an organization that serves our wider community in harmony with our UU values. In May and June, our offering will be shared with the Multicultural Service Center of South Sound. Since becoming a nonprofit in 1921, the Multicultural Service Center of South Sound has made connections with newcomers from around the world, primarily refugees who have fled violent, repressive regimes in their own countries. The center helps meet the unaddressed or underaddressed needs of those refugees, asylees, and other immigrants in several ways, including through their English language learner program. By nurturing their ability to understand, the center helps our newest residents contribute their gifts to the community as workers, neighbors, parents, students, and future leaders. If you are new or visiting us, you are our welcome guest. But if you would like to participate, what you share will be gratefully received. May the offering now be generously given, as it will be gratefully received.
Thank you so much for your generosity and all the ways you share your many gifts. This morning we do what humans have done for all of our existence. We gather in times of worry and anxiety and in times of celebration and joy. We come into our community bringing all that is in our minds and in our hearts. So let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drum beat. Allow its resonance to enter into your body. It's the heartbeat of life, the heartbeat of our community. I invite you now to take a deep breath in and out. Feel the air, the breath of life as it enters and leaves your body. Feel the earth solid beneath us. Feel the warmth of connection. We send our love and care to all who are mourning this Memorial Day weekend. We send our care and gratitude to those who are actively serving in the military in an uncertain world. And I share the joy of welcoming Victoria Ridgway as OUC's new office assistant. You can read more about Victoria in the upcoming Tuesday update. And we are so grateful to Sue Sikora for her office coverage these past weeks. Both Victoria and Sue are in the office this morning, so if you're on site, please feel free to stop by and thank Sue and welcome Victoria. Let's open our circle wide now. For those on Zoom, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those of us in the sanctuary can see your sharing on the screen, and it will be shared with me and the pastoral care team. For those on site today, I invite you to come forward if there's something you'd like to bring into this community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. So let's hear the heartbeat of our community as we reach out our hearts in love and care to all who share today. We'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared by those online, shared from the heart. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. We hold together all that has been shared. May you feel yourself witnessed. May you know yourself beloved. Would you join me in the spirit of prayer? Great mystery from which we come and to which we return. May we embrace the wholeness of life, the fear, the grief, the celebration, and the joy. Spirit of life and love, remind us to pause, to breathe, to listen, to remember. For this is the path to freedom, compassion, and justice. May this be so. Blessed be. Amen. Let's be in silence together.
first verse to join along with the bracketed "We Remember." Rising of the sun, we remember. In the blowing of the wind, we remember. In the opening of buds, we remember. We remember. In the blueness of the skies, we remember. In the rustling of the leaves, we remember. As the year starts and ends, we remember. We remember. When we're weary and need strength, we remember. When we're lost and sick of heart, we remember. When we've joys we yearn to share, we remember. We remember. So long as we live, they too shall live. They are now a part of us. They are now a part of us. They are now a part of us. As we remember, we remember. We remember. We remember.
Both of today's readings are from The Wild Edge of Sorrow by Francis Weller. Weller is a psychotherapist, writer, and soul activist. He has been instrumental in bringing grief rituals to the United States to help us remember what psychologist Carl Jung called our unforgotten wisdom. Weller writes, "Grief is subversive, undermining our society's quiet agreement that we will behave and be in control of our emotions. It is an act of protest that declares our refusal to live numb and small. There is something feral about grief, something essentially outside the ordained and sanctioned behaviors of our culture. Because of that, grief is necessary to the vitality of the soul. Contrary to our fears, grief is suffused with life force. It is not a state of deadness or emotional flatness. Grief is alive, wild, untamed. It cannot be domesticated. It resists the demands to remain passive and still. We move in jangled, unsettled, and riotous ways when grief takes hold of us. It is truly an emotion that rises from soul."
Part 1, we gather to remember. Last year during my sabbatical, my husband and I took a long cross-country road trip, and one of the many places we stopped was in Michigan, where I was born and where many of my family still live. And while I was there, one of my brothers and I visited the graves of our grandparents. We visited the graves of my dad's parents and lamented that our family name of Mangione has taken on a new and complicated meaning in the public eye. And we visited the gravesite of my mom's parents and remembered the ritual that happens in my family every year on Memorial Day weekend. For more than 80 years, members of my mom's family have gathered at the cemetery and tended the graves. It began with their father's generation, and now my mom and her sister and brother carry on this ritual of honoring and remembering. One of them will purchase flowers to plant on the graves, the same types of flowers that they have used for 80 years. They will clear away the debris of winter, which is not a small thing in Michigan, and they'll plant flowers that will bloom throughout the summer into the fall. And as they do so, they will remember. They'll tell stories of their childhoods, of their parents and grandparents and large family gatherings. They'll tell of my grandfather, who worked hard in the foundry and who died young. They'll tell of my grandmother, who loved to tell jokes and who had a wonderful laugh, that distinctive cackle that I hear in my mom's laugh and that my husband says he hears in mine. They'll tell stories of those who have died, now including some of their generation and younger. They'll tell stories, laugh, cry, pray, and remember, keeping the stories and the people alive. They'll tend to the graves and they'll tend to the memories. And they'll look to the future, telling stories of their children and grandchildren and now great-grandchildren, the connection of the past to the future. There has always been a relationship between mourning and memory. We keep our losses nearby to help us remember what we loved, what is most important to us, and the lessons we learned that we want to keep present in our lives and in our future. Those who have died have never, never left. Francis Weller suggests that, quote, how we tend the dead is as important as how we tend the living. But Weller also says that some grief, remembering helps us bring into our awareness and work through the feelings of loss. Not that they go away, they never go away, but that they become a part of our life, and so that we can go on with the work of living. But Weller says that some grief isn't meant to be resolved and set aside. He says those memories, quote, help us hold what must be carried by a people so that they never have to endure such pain again. This grief does not allow us to return to normal, but helps keep the past from slipping away in a present that tries to deny its existence. Reminding is the purpose of symbols like the red poppy. It is also the purpose of memorials like those I visited on my sabbatical. The memorial to the indigenous peoples at the Little Bighorn National Monument, in memory of those who lost their lives defending their homeland. And the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, which speaks the truth of our nation's racial terrorism by naming those who have been killed in the name of white supremacy. Weller defines grief and describes grief as a vast hall that we can enter through many gates. The vast hall is the communal terrain of grief, And while we each might enter through a gate on our own, the hall that we enter is shared by many. Weller outlines 6 gates that are common entry points to this communal hall of grief, and I'll name 3 for this Memorial Day weekend. The first gate is the one that we are likely most familiar with. Everything we love, we will lose. This is the paradox of love and loss and the pain of our human condition. We mourn because we love. The second gate is ancestral grief. We enter the hall of grief through this gate when we acknowledge our inheritance of the effects of things like racism, war, and genocide. And while it's possible we didn't experience those things directly, we experience the legacy of those actions on people and cultures in our world today. And the final gate to name is the sorrows of the world. We enter through this gate when we mourn the destruction of our environment and the loss of life as a result. We enter this gate when we acknowledge the many places of war in the world and its effects on the people and the land. No one person can carry the weight of this grief alone. We enter the hall of grief through many gates, sometimes by choice, like when we decide to leave a job or a relationship or to move. And sometimes we enter by circumstance, like when we encounter illness or death. Toward the end of my sabbatical last October, I attended a 3-day grief ritual using the model that Weller developed and has trained others in the United States. It was a gathering of strangers, each of us bringing our own stories of sorrow as we held space for each other to enter the hall of grief through whatever gates were calling us in. It was a powerful experience of mourning and of healing. And through it, I came to know in my bones the truth of Weller's claim that our suffering is mutually entangled, as is our healing.
In The Wild Edge of Sorrow, author Francis Weller continues, sorrow helps us remember something long intuited by indigenous people across the planet. Our lives are inextricably commingled with one another, with animals, plants, watersheds, and soil. Our personal experiences of loss and suffering are now bound inextricably with dying coral reefs, melting polar ice caps, the silencing of languages, the collapse of democracy, and the fading of civilization. The personal and the planetary are inseparable, as is our healing. Losing someone or something we love brings us into the shelter of our mutual grief. Grief and love are sisters, woven together from the beginning. Their kinship reminds us that there is no love that does not contain loss, and no loss that is not a reminder of the love we carry for what we once held close. Alone and together, death and loss affect us all.
Part 2, we gather to grieve. The shelter of our mutual grief. Weller writes, grief has always been communal, and when we force our sorrow to remain private, we invite shame, and we turn away from our most powerful source of healing. It is in community that we mourn, and it is in community that we heal. Community is the lifeline, the tether that helps us return to the land of the living when we have been in the call of grief, either by choice or by circumstance. There is no cure for sorrow, only our lifeline, the comforting love and care of those who are closest to us. This Memorial Day, we come together to remember and to commit the countercultural act of grieving together. Let us bear witness to our grief, the grief in our community, in our nation, and the grief which is shared by people around the world. In a moment, I will invite us into a ritual of grief and memory. And as we move through the ritual, please take care and act as you need. You might want to stand and move around. You might want to dance. You might want to shake or hum to release some energy. You might want to be still. You might want to shout. You might want to weep. There's Kleenex if you would find that useful. And you might want to ask those around you for a hand or a shoulder or a hug. All that you are and all that you feel is welcome here. I will name some sorrows, and I will invite you to share yours online in the chat and on site as you are comfortable. And after our sharing, I'll invite us to say these words together. We grieve and we remember. Will you say that with me now? We grieve and we remember. So take a moment now to return to your center, your grounding. That might be your breath, your body, the earth, an image, or a memory. Settle in and breathe. We begin by honoring those who have died in conflicts and wars, past and present, civilians and military, people of all ages. We especially lift up those impacted by war now, as the Geneva Academy of International Humanitarian Law names more than 110 places of conflict around the world. In Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and the Middle East. Let us bring into our minds and hearts those who have died in war and the places past and present that have been impacted by war. Let us say together, we grieve and we remember. And though this Memorial Day is dedicated to those lost in war, all the beloveds we have lost are present with us today. We hold their names and their faces in our mind's eye. We recall the gifts they gave us through the strength of their being, the depth of their love, and the fullness of their living. We remember the members of our OUUC community who have died these past 18 months, and we name them: Anna Jones, Ken Guza, Ken Yo, Phyllis Clausen, Pat Sonnenstall, Barry Zicker, Lori Eaton, Riley McLaughlin, Lou Brighton, Brian Hughesby, Diane Daly, David Hare. Let's say together, we grieve and we remember. Let us bring into our minds and hearts other loved ones in our lives who have died, our ancestors and those who have gone before. This may be people or other beings, human beloveds and beloveds or other species. Many of us have furry beloveds. They connect us to our past, and they live on through us. I invite you to bring into the space all of the people and other beings that you have loved and lost. For those online, I invite you to share names as you wish in the chat. For those on site, I invite you to speak yours loudly or in a whisper, or hold them in the silence of your heart. Bernice. Online is shared family member Brenda Patton Houchin and Mel Pfeiffer, Naomi Elena Adkins, Mother Judith Kellogg. Let us say together, we grieve and we remember. Let us bring into our minds and hearts those we have lost to hatred and violence based on bias. We mourn the loss of those impacted by racism, classism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, inequality, and bias of all kinds. We grieve the attempted erasure of people and of our history by the current government. We yearn for a country where all in need of refuge are welcome. We yearn for an end to inequality, violence, and suffering. I invite you to bring into this space the losses of bias and hate on your mind and in your heart. For those online, you may share in the chat. For those on site, you may speak aloud or whisper or hold in silence.
I know what to do with the disgust I feel for what's
we've shared my mom, Mary, lost our grandson, the Palestinian people in Gaza, and a victim of a random violence. Let's say together, we grieve and we remember. Now let us bring into our minds and hearts our losses as a nation. The loss of institutions and structures that can support all citizens and a democratic process. Challenges to the rule of law and the demonization of different opinions. The loss of supportive relationships around the world. We long for a shared truth that is real. We long for a sense of hope for the future. We yearn for greater justice, compassion, and wisdom. I invite you to bring into this space the losses of our nation that you carry in your heart and on your mind. For those online, please share in the chat. For those on site, share as you wish.
Education Department.
Mass extinction.
Climate research and plants. Community center.
Compassion.
Our public lands.
PA place.
Good safety oversight.
International college students.
PBS, NPR.
Healthcare.
The dead of HIV and
Shared online, narcissistic blindness that led us there, the destruction of USAID, the loss of my pride in America, the loss of being able to feel peaceful in my country. Let us say together, we grieve and we remember. And last, let us bring into our minds and hearts the species and places in our natural world that we have lost or that are at risk. On the land, in the air, in the waters. We yearn for an end to the exploitation of the natural world. We long for an earth where all beings can thrive. I invite you to bring into this space the losses of the natural world that you carry in your heart and on your mind. For those online, feel free to share in the chat, and those on site, share as you wish. Polar bears.
Sweetness.
songbirds.
Salmon and orca. Online is shared the Salish Sea that surrounds my adopted home, the loss of forests and animals who live there, yet remains beautiful and adaptable. Funding cuts to national parks and staff, and the loss of habitat for so many. Let's say together, we grieve and we remember. Let's pause for just a moment to take a breath. Remember Remember to breathe, for we are alive. And in just a moment, I'm going to invite us to howl together as we move into some silence, because I think we need a howl. So please stand or sit as you wish and be in whatever posture allows you to release as we howl. Let's be in silence together. We have entered the holy ground of grief, tethered by the strength of community. May we draw on the life force of our grief as we return to the world, a world that is so in need of our love and care. May we draw on the life force of our grief to help create a world where everyone can thrive, where nature is respected and protected, and where justice and equity prevail. May we find comfort in our shared grief, our shared hope, and our shared vision. Amen.
Let's sing together. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me, won't you? Sing with me, please. Sing with me, oh my soul, won't you? Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Please speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Dance. Dance with me. Come on, dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Come on and dance. Dance with me. Dance. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me. Comfort me. Comfort me, oh my soul, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
We will extinguish our chalice with words that are interpreted from the Talmud, the primary text for Jewish law and theology. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. We are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are we free to abandon it. May you go with peace, go with commitment, go with love.